All right, we're live now. Hello, everyone. Uh, Let me just share the link on Facebook. As always, this is going to be a very quick session because I'm about to catch a flight. Let me just share the link on Facebook. So, here we are. Right, so we already have a question from someone on Facebook. We arrive, siamo arrivati, why arrivati and not arrivare or arriviamo? Okay, so this is an interesting question. I'm just going to post it in the chat. So let me repeat the question. We arrive, siamo arrivati. Okay, so the question is, why do we translate we arrive with siamo arrivati in Italian, while we would expect something like arriviamo, which is the present simple. And apologies, today we're going to have a very quick session. As I already mentioned, we're going to do some Italian, we're going to answer some questions. So if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. There's flights departing soon, so I'm going to spend about 10-15 minutes here, and we're going to have a longer session perhaps next week. Anyways, let me know if you can hear me fine and see me fine. I'm going to go ahead and answer the first question. Siamo arrivati. Okay, so the issue with this question is that it's actually a very, very simple question. When we say we arrive, first of all, it's not clear what context this is in, because normally you wouldn't say we arrive. We either say we have arrived, or we're coming, so we will arrive at a certain point. Or we can also use the present simple, we arrive. So translating we arrive in Italian, simply we take the verb to arrive, arrivare. Arrivare. I'm just going to type it into the chat. Arrivare. Arrivare is an are type verb. And being an are type verb, we go arrivo, I arrive, arrivo, arrivi, you arrive, arriva, arriviamo. So indeed, we arrive, it translates to arriviamo. So the reason why it can be sometimes heard, sometimes you will hear siamo arrivati. That means we have arrived. So it is a very literal translation. We have arrived. Siamo arrivati. And the reason for that is, as we saw in the previous session, and I think the session before that, verbs to do with motion are intransitive. And so when you have an intransitive verb, you use the verb to be to make the present perfect, as opposed to the verb to have. So instead of ho arrivato, sono arrivato. And instead of abbiamo arrivato, we go siamo arrivati. Right? So in this way, we can understand why we have arrived, or we arrived, we just arrived, translates to siamo arrivati. And there's two things going on. The first thing is present simple, forget it. In Italian, we use the present perfect. Ciao Arturo. Abbiamo cominciato presto. So we've started early. And we have a question. We have the question, how do we translate we arrive? The question is, the question I think stems from a couple of things that happen when we use these types of verbs in Italian. So first, we use the present perfect. We never use the past simple unless it's a fable, story, some regional dialects. Normally, we stick with present perfect. I have done. So this is one thing. And the second thing is verbs of motion require the verb to be and then the past participle. So that's the present perfect with the verb to be as opposed to the verb to have. So this question is very quickly answered in this fashion. Today I'm driving, so I'll mostly just listen. That's fine. I'm about to get on a flight now, so this session is going to be super quick. As I mentioned, we're going to have a longer session next week, 2 p.m. GMT. I didn't want to move the time backwards and forwards because we've already done it once, and I don't like changing schedule. So let's stick with this schedule. This week is going to be quick. Please come up with questions so that these sessions become even more interesting. I would like to, debate or tackle complex or interesting issues as opposed to just, rambling on and on about grammar. Ciao, ciao Medeo, ciao Arturo, ciao Diana, ciao a tutti. Sessione rapida, veloce. Okay, very quick session today. I can see that we still have some doubts with regard to the present perfect and the past simple. There's no past simple in Italian. And also the fact that intransitive verbs require the verb to be. So I am gone literally translates to sono andato, which an English person or an English speaking person would say, I went, right? So there's a number of things going on. Ciao Sherry. Ciao a tutti. Scusate, oggi non ho molto tempo. So today I don't have much time. Non ho molto tempo. Perché sto viaggiando, right? Because I am traveling. And next session, la prossima sessione will be a bit longer. Sarà più lunga. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions, burning desires of getting to know something in particular? Otherwise, we can just chat in Italian for another 5-10 minutes and see you all the next week coming. I will prepare some topics for next week. Last week we covered the present perfect and how it's tricky. Diana is saying, I left an example sentence about what Arturo asked last week on that video. Okay, so can you copy paste it again? Let me just find it anyways. Otherwise, I'll try to find it. Right. So we have the live sessions the last weeks. Okay. So we have a session here. Let's see. Comments. Ho fatto una torta e mia figlia l'ha mangiata tutta. Oh, okay. I came across an example of what was talked about in the lesson today about gender plural with passato prossimo e avere. Non li ho visti. I haven't seen them. Oh, I understand now. Yes, this is what Arturo asked. about, and you asked for an example. Grazie. Oh, brilliant. Right. Ok, interesting. Ho fatto una torta e mia figlia l'ha mangiata tutta. These are very good examples. Okay. It seems that I can find it for next week. That's fine. I found it. I found it. I actually understood la suo italiano perché parla slowly, ritardo. Okay. So maybe next week we can talk about it. Diana, we definitely talk about it next week. Okay, Amedeo, slowly, lentamente. All right, yeah. So first of all, don't forget to give these videos a thumbs up. This is very important. I think you did a really good job in the last two videos. We've got a lot of likes compared to previously. Next week we'll talk about this because it's very important, and I like the examples that you found. And one thing that we can tackle today is this important question: ritardo. Be very careful because ritardo can also mean a mental inability to understand things, right? So when you say someone is retarded, right, to say to talk about these things can be a little tricky. So ritardo means delay. This is just a word that means delay. Ritardo. Ritardo can be ritardo temporale, so normal delay, or it can be a mental delay, right? Ritardo mentale. So that's, that can also be used as an insult, as you can imagine. And that's all I have to say about that. When we talk about talking slowly or doing something slowly, absolutely, we use the word lentamente, lentamente, which comes from lento, which is slow, right? And this is a pattern in Italian where we take an adjective, slow, and then we transform it in its feminine form, lenta, and then we add mente, lentamente, and then we go from the adjective to the adverb. Capisco, ho un figlio con special needs, so I get how it's used negatively. Absolutely. And it would be the same thing in English, right? So the same exact word is used in both languages, actually. The difference is that in English, to talk about delays, you use a different word. In Italian, it's the same word. So that's why I made that comment. Absolutely. I think in Italian we would say, and I can be wrong, but I think we would say con disturbi dell'apprendimento. Con disturbi dell'apprendimento. That would be translating with special needs, I believe. So remember, lento, slow, lenta, it's the feminine version. Lentamente, we turned it into an adverb. So now it means slowly, and we can add it to a sentence. All right, guys. I'm going to have to... Exactly. That is, if you read what Amedeo put in chat, that's exactly the rule that governs how to go from adverb to adjective and vice versa throughout the language. So you can pick any adjective, almost any adjective, and then use it as an adverb. Just like you would go from slow to slowly, adding ly in English, and with very few exceptions. Okay, thanks, Diana. Thanks, everyone. I'm sorry for this, for the speed at which I'm speaking and the duration of this of this session. I'm going to have to shoot. I wish you all well. Thanks for the interesting questions. And thank you very much, Diana and everyone, for the examples that we're going to tackle next week. I'm actually going to come up with a good explanation because I want to do a good job at it. And it is an interesting topic. And we already covered it last session. And next session, we're going to finish it off with these exceptions that I think follow a pattern. So you're correct. Buon viaggio, grazie. Grazie a tutti, ci vediamo presto. Ciao 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 ciao.